Welcome to Franchise Wars on the High Ground podcast.
Installment number 2.
Yes. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, George Lucas did a prequel trilogy that a lot of people loved, a lot of people hated.
And I can't believe we're saying a long time ago now.
Yeah, it's been
20 years.
20 years since how long is it? 12 years? No,
Since Revenge of the Sith.
14 years.
Yeah, 14
years.
Yeah.
But today we're going to be doing a little bit of a versus because this is Franchise Wars.
And it is our first full-length show on Star Wars, as we've been promising.
And we're going to start with the films that really create a bit of an argument between the two
pre-episode 8 divide.
Yeah. There's going to be no violence on this one, and no saying that our opinion is the right one. And if you're listening, obviously you're listening, you're the wrong. But as I am Stevie W, as you all know, my favourite one of the prequels is Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, which
I do not think is true.
So we're now doing Attack of the Clones versus Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, so I've got Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith, and Stevie's got Attack of the Clones, so this should be interesting.
I just want to go on record saying I do, after watching them all recently, I do actually like them all, but I just have preference.
And let me state as well, I don't hate Episode 2 at all. I still like it. It's just the weakest of the Star Wars films for me. So I'm not going in this thinking, oh, that film's rubbish. It's just, it's the least favourite of all the films for me. That's all. It's not.
I'm talking of
all. Yeah. I mean, and especially of the prequels as well. It's the weakest, I think. But we will get into that. I just wanted to put that disclaimer on. I don't hate it.
No,
I don't hate any of them.
I have weaker ones, but hate is there's not one that I actually go, I never want to watch this film ever again.
Exactly. Yeah, no, not at all.
But now we've got our disclaimers out the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just want to say, this is when you're doing this, it's hard to actually go through not having it with rose tinted glasses because Attack of the Clones for me was the first film I did midnight screening. So I've got soft spot for that. And
was it not the first film in IMAX as well, ever?
No, IMAX.
Was it not? No, it was IMAX before that. Yeah.
Might be the first Star Wars, but and you see it, and this is all hyped up. But after Phantom Menace did lose a lot of fans because a lot of people, after they thought about it a while, they started turning on the Galaxy Far, Far Away because it wasn't what they wanted.
Yeah.
So when it comes to Attack of the Clones, it's already lost an over some of the audience. But for me, as a hardcore fan, staying with it, I mean, I only went out off of Star Wars in the period between Revenge of the Sith and Episode 7, Force Awakens. And that was all because I'm not a gamer, and the quality
you didn't watch Clone Wars. Rebels, did you?
No, and the quality. I have started watching some of them.
I
really enjoy it.
Fantastic. But they brought Star Wars back to the quality.
But I didn't like I thought the quality of the merchandise went down, and it lost its way. It should have had that period was between Attack of the Clones, between Return of the Jedi and the special editions.
Yeah,
should have had that period of nothing or small before it came back. Boom!
In a big explosion.
That's the biggest problem.
I think that was the problem to start with, actually, because they'd already bombarded us with the special editions. It's only 2 years then till Episode 1, and the hype was so big. I remember saying to you the other day, I remember at the time, people actually buying tickets to see films they didn't even want to see just so they could see the Star Wars trailer, and then going back in and doing it again and again. To the point where I think it was some Canadian theatres even refused to show the trailer, much to their, obviously, much to their detriment, but that was how big it was, and I think just having those 2 years to go into the first prequel was too short.
Because you got something so unbelievable.
Here's these different versions of these films you loved, and now here's the next 3. I think it was 2. I don't know. Looking back on it, it may have been 2. I mean, back in the day, I was like, yes, Star Wars.
I was good. I was just grateful to have something new after 16 years without any real new material.
Yeah, so I think for you it's probably more poignant because I was still very, very young at the time. I was only about 9 or 10, so I was still in kiddie Star Wars mode where I didn't know much about the cultural appropriation behind it, and whereas you were in,
I was post-university one year.
So you understood the good and the bad.
Yeah,
about having.
Because you have to pick yourself. I mean, for me, I mean, for it was nice to have Star Wars back, and Phantom
Oh,
Menace
yeah.
does feel
Yeah.
like a Star Wars film.
It
And
does,
can,
yeah.
and I do. And watching it back, you know what? Here's something
It's
when
a
I
good
watch it.
film.
Pardon?
It's a good film, isn't
Yeah.
it? Watching it back, it's
I-
not as bad as everyone makes out.
I think that if you take it for Phantom Menace, I can't believe I'm defending Phantom Menace to start
Yeah,
with.
I never thought I would.
Is the characters that got criticised, the Gungans,
Yeah.
supposed to be Jamaican, Mickey Takes, and Watto,
What
being
being
Jew.
Jewish? Yeah, yeah.
But when you're watching it, that's putting appropriation onto
Yeah,
a galaxy far, far away.
yeah,
But-
yeah.
To me, the Gungans and Jar Jar in particular was always meant as comic relief.
Yeah.
I see them as comic relief, and Watto was a dealer, but people just
Yeah.
said, "Oh, we're just going to." People just put the things on. All it takes is one person to put something out there to the world and have it latched onto, and people think about. I've
Yeah.
got to admit, Watto is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, he's
And I'm not one of these ones that's coming after night. I actually, for years until it broke, I had a Watto fridge magnet.
yeah. I used to like Watto. You've met him though.
I've
haven't
met Andy
Yeah.
Secombe, the Space Center. He's really, really nice. And I was, when it's one of the sort of things for me is when you see that, oh, Andy Secombe's going to be at a convention, and it's a lot of people go, oh, it's Watto, it's a voice talent.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw it, it's like, I said to my
Yeah.
fiance, I said, I've got to go on the Sunday because Andy Secombe, Watto is going to be there. I need
Yeah.
to meet Watto. And it was just brilliant.
Yeah.
It was. But,
I think those appropriations there, like the Gungans or they're taking the piss out of Jamaicans or like Watto's Jewish. That's just people I think that's just people projecting that on. Like nowadays, how you can't say a word without being called racist or sexist or whatever. It's like I think we project so many negatives onto things, and we always have that. Those things. I wasn't even thinking of those things when I was watching it. I admit I was younger, so I may not have understood that. But like, I was just watching a Star Wars film, and it was just a little alien guy that could fly. Like, it wasn't. Oh, here's a Jewish stereotype. Look at the size of like his snout. That's supposed to be like a Jewish nose. That's honestly something someone's put online. And I just thought like, but that's you thinking that. That's not us thinking that.
I just thought he was a well-designed character.
Yeah, and same with Jar Jar. Like, I don't particularly like him, and I see why people find him annoying. But I wasn't sitting there thinking racist or like deliberate. I mean, obviously, like we were all thinking cash cow. This is where the merchandise is. But the Ewoks were the same, weren't they?
No,
Like,
the Ewoks really
are
were.
cool, but they're cash cows.
But I
Although to quote Simon Pegg in Space, the Ewoks make Jar Jar Binks look like fucking Shaft.
there's nothing wrong with Shaft. You don't like
There
Shaft?
isn't, no.
What's wrong with Shaft?
But
What's
then
wrong with
that even goes hand in hand with what you were saying. Like the Gungans are like the new Ewoks in that episode, in that they're fighting the technological people with the primitive stuff. And I think Star Wars always does that really well. The primitive guys fighting the guys with a lot of technology.
Vietnam.
Yeah, it's always Vietnam, isn't it? Yeah.
It's what the period George Lucas grew up.
So, I mean, I'm sure it was a direct quote from him or someone else that, the Rebel Alliance are the Viet Cong and the Empire is America.
Yeah.
It's always been quite.
Oh, that would mean he would have got into a lot of trouble during the McCarthy witch hunts.
And Reagan as well, I'd imagine. Yeah.
But Reagan did take Star Wars as the name Star Wars.
Yeah, he did, yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Okay, I would say Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Completely for me destroys the ending of Return of the Jedi.
I have to agree with you there. Like, although I'm defending it, I do not like the fact that they made him a child killer.
No, I think that
really
should
do not
always
like it. Be ambiguous.
Yeah,
I mean,
really didn't like that.
we
really
discussed
gutted.
how we filmed that scene, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we said something like, I was thinking, he walks in and that kid says, "Oh, what's going on?" And then he turns around and you see a tear fall and the clone troopers moving. Because the clone troopers can be they're like the Nazis in Indiana Jones. You don't need to feel sorry for them.
No.
Like you did feel sorry for, like if you watch the series Clone Wars, like some of the ones that have different personalities, you start to sort of latch onto, like Command and Cody and people like that. But the clones can be those faceless killers.
Yeah.
Whereas when Anakin does it, you think, well, he just did that purposefully and
To save his wife.
yeah.
And at the end, he chokes Padme out.
Yeah, so he didn't say it was
No, and he believes without seeing a person that's been manipulating him since in between episode 1 and episode 2.
Yeah.
and it's all about manipulation. And
It is, yeah.
and the thing is, and they take a strong character like Padme Amidala, and she's died of a broken heart. She's lost her will to live.
Yeah.
That annoyed me. They turned her from being.
Yeah.
If they'd had some medical medical injury because of something Anakin done or something else.
Crushed her larynx
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
Then I could understand it. But those are the two things. I mean, I'm going to say now I saw episode 3 10 times at the cinema because I thought it was the last Star Wars film.
Well, it was,
And at the
wasn't
time, it
Yeah.
was, yeah. I really enjoyed it. It's only after the fact that I noticed this whole thing. And Anakin should not have been redeemed at the end of Return of the Jedi now. It's like we say in Pirates of the Caribbean, one good deed does not make up for a lifetime of bad. That's misquoting Pirates of the Caribbean. And that's what it felt like at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Now, it should have. It's got to change one thing about about the prequels. That's the one thing I changed. But I don't want to go down this path because I'm going to sound like all the other fanboys.
No, I do agree with you there. Actually, that is something I do have to concede is really weak with episode 3. Is it has simultaneously it has the best and worst endings of one of the trilogies. So, you know, like you have those wonderfully shot moments at the end where the vignettes where Vader gets off the table and the first breath, and then it goes to Alderaan, and then it goes to Tatooine, and you see the sun setting instead of rising. I know, and they're one of the greatest. You know, that ending, like I was, welling up because it was the end, like you say, like in what perfect way to end. We know Hope's going to come back, but yeah. Then when I was older, I did kind of think, but hang on, he's a child killer now, so how do you redeem a child killer?
You can't.
No, there's only one more crime worse than that, and I'm glad I never went over that. But I do agree. There's a point already from me, so I've got to agree with that.
Another thing you said about the ending of films. Because I watched Revenge of the Sith a couple of months ago, and I made notes. So I watched Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace, and the thing that hit me, quite a few things hit me about watching essentially one after another, is that the ending for me of Attack of the Clones, I rank that. I mean, I rank Attack of the Clones in my top 5 of Star Wars movies, but the ending, the moment you see Dooku's ship going over Coruscant to meet the Emperor, from that point onward to the bit where Yoda and Mace Windu discussing the clones, you see the clone army of the Imperial March, Bail Organa punching his fist down.
Yeah, like this is the end of democracy.
Yeah, and the colour palette they use, the oranges, because
it's fantastic. I must admit.
I was Twilight. I was watching it, and the line "Twilight is upon me, soon night must fall" from Return of the Jedi. Yoda came to my mind, and this is a bit, especially you get to the Imperial March, bang, Bail Organa, which is brilliant. And then you cut to the last scene of Anakin and Padme marrying, holding Anakin's steel prosthetic hand, with the droids kissing at the place where Padme and Anakin kissed at the start of the film, which is also from James Bond, Casino Royale, where he's
recovery.
Then you cut to the Star Wars main theme. To me, the whole sequence is one of the best endings. It's brilliant.
One of the things Star Wars does perfectly with all its different trilogies that not a lot of franchises can do that spin off is they mirror each other perfectly. So, the end of episode 1 you have the parade scene, that's the throne room scene. The end of episode 2 you have the wedding scene, that's the scene from right at the end of Empire when they're looking out the window saying like everything's gonna be fine, we'll get Han back. It's the same, the droids are there. And then the end of episode 3, it's Hope is coming back, and at the end of Return of Jedi, Hope has come back. There's always like a gathering at the end of each Star Wars film, I think, isn't there?
You have to have, no matter how bad the situation is, especially in Empire Strikes Back. You have to end on the high note with
because the whole film's been a low note. Really,
you've Luke and Leia back together with the droids, which with the prequels, you got Mummy's astromech and Daddy's protocol. So you've got a link between the two together, and they're going out to. This whole thing is the shit's going to hit the fan in the next one. And I think with Attack of the Clones, with also the introduction of the Death Star plans from the Geonosians, everything is now setting it up so that when you get to Sith, bang, everything's dark. This goes from being light and breezy at the start to going as it goes along.
This is my problem with it. We'll get into later the tone shift.
Yeah.
But
I think it's, I was watching. There's another thing I noticed about Attack of the Clones, which I truly love, is Ewan McGregor when he's talking to Dexter
he is good.
in Dexter's Cafe. I thought that was brilliant. To me, that's the one time in the whole film is you think that it's just the look on his face that he's having fun. Ewan McGregor's having fun, and I just watching it. I love that scene. The only thing I don't like about Ewan McGregor in the movies is you can always tell when he's doing reshoots because his beard looks fake at points.
It looks
all of them
really different, doesn't it?
That's me nitpicking, by the way.
Yeah, no, I must admit, again, another point in the favour. Well, I suppose it's both our favours, isn't it? Because they're all prequels. But Ewan McGregor is the best thing about these three films. He's so perfectly cast. In a sea of complaints, it was the one thing all critics picked up on.
I like Samuel L. Jackson as Robert. I'm biased.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Don't worry.
This party's over. Another Attack of the Clones line.
It is, yeah, but we'll get to Samuel L. Jackson. But yeah, no, Ewan McGregor. I was so happy when they announced this Obi-Wan series. He's the right age to play him at the point he is, and he's just a pleasure to watch. Like, we didn't get enough of Alec Guinness because he was obviously an older guy at the time. So, but the way the voice and the way he channels Alec Guinness, it's scary. Like when you get to Sith, it's so weird. I always thought like they must have done some sort of CG on him, but it's all like the beard and the colouring it grey and just the General Grievous scene where it's like hello there. It's just it's so uncanny.
You say hello there from Revenge of the Sith. I'll give you another one that's quotable from Attack of the Clones. Yep. That's always here.
Considering everyone seems to hate the prequels, they do have some really quotable scenes, don't they?
I was watching it. You got me. I love all the scenes with Boba Fett. Get him dead.
Yeah.
I think he's. I just think that.
At the time though, I did kind of think. There's another kid Anakin, but since you met him in real life, he has taken on a real.
You're watching these films again after meeting him in May.
They're different.
Absolutely brilliant.
And if you see the episode with him in Clone Wars,
I went out and bought that one.
Got him to play Boba Fett.
It's
so cool.
And I like Tamura Morrison. I think Tamura Morrison is.
I do. I don't like the dubbing of his voice into the Blu-rays though.
No.
Or the DVDs as well. That really annoyed me.
I'll give you that. I will give you that. But for Attack of the Clones, I like him. One of my books. With people, sometimes when people ask me how I am, I always quote Jango Fett. I'm just a simple guy trying to make his way in the universe.
Yeah.
I think that is.
He's a cowboy, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's like. I mean, he's called Django as well, which is probably an on the nose reference. Yeah. But it's just, and we'll start getting into my problems with episode 2 in a minute. But Jango Fett is one of them. But I do want to say the good things first, because everyone likes to hear the good news first.
I like
Jango Fett's cool.
Okay, another one for you. I was thinking when I was watching Attack of the Clones. I'm going to go fast because I already heard them talk about this. The Geonosian Battle Arena, which and all the colour palette reminded me of John Carter. I haven't even read the book, but I love the John Carter film when I was watching it. And you got,
it's 100% the books.
Yeah,
I have read the books.
And I thought. And it made me love it even more because I love the film John Carter, which may be one of the other people.
I think it's underrated. Yeah, it's quite good.
And the bit in the arena with Reek Oakley and I remember.
Yeah, I can't remember
Reek Oakley and I actually remember these all yesterday when I was doing this.
It's the little dog thing with the spikes, isn't it?
Massive.
That's
with those, it's reminding me of the Harry Harrison bits, especially when not Luke, when Obi-Wan's attacking it with the
spear.
Yeah.
I think it's deliberate. And it also reminded me of Gladiator for some reason, just like
the arena.
The idea of the arena,
And I thought that, and it reminded me. The whole film in itself reminded more of me, more of Episode 4, A New Hope, than it did of Empire Strikes Back, because it's a pulp serial, and that's what Attack of the Clones reminded me of. Why it's so fun for me, as you could argue that it's quite disposable. If you don't need to watch the other ones, if you just watch it as one, it's very disposable. As is A New Hope when you watch it. It's just fun. Yeah, and that's what thing I loved about it is it was fun.
The ones that take place on Tatooine quite a lot. They're the ones that seem like the westerns, and like the fun, like the adventure ones. And it's when they go off planet to other ones that like the story seems to take over more. I do agree with that. Yeah, I think it's whenever they're in a desert, even Jakku, like that's where the fun stuff happens in Episode 7, isn't it? Like the Millennium Falcon and. You
don't want that. That's a bit of junk.
Yeah. And as soon as they said no, you don't want that junk, I thought Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
But, like it's that, yeah, but I think it's deliberately supposed to remind you of Tatooine, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I,
And I think if when you get older, and a lot of these people that are the keyboard warriors that are spending all the time.
Social justice warriors.
Yeah, they were all these people. They just they forget these are children's films.
Yeah.
And
They were explicitly stated to be children's
Yeah.
films.
So Episode 4 and Attack of the Clones for me are good because they give you that
They're
warm
like the first two Harry
feelings,
Potter films,
yeah.
aren't they? Yeah.
And I love it. I truly do. I mean, I remember, going to a midnight screening. I mean, there was no local, so I had to drive to this.
Yeah.
So by the time 3/4 of the way through the film, I'm like half asleep. And I know we're not the CG Yoda now, but as soon as Yoda, the battle arena picked me up a little bit.
Yeah.
As soon as Yoda comes on, drops his walking stick, and boom, with a lightsaber against Dooku. Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee versus Yoda.
He is one of the best things about that film, I must admit. If I had to pick a strength, Christopher Lee.
So I'm like the rest of the film. I'm bearing in mind when I'm watching it, I've got a 1999 Yoda rucksack. It's like more like a cuddly toy.
Like
so when you got like you're half asleep, like cuddling like a cuddly bear, teddy bear sort of thing. So to have that, and you prick your ears up and your eyes up, and you're like, whoa!
Yeah.
And the ending. Little complaint though, I will say about Attack of the Clones, and it's not a complaint is more that every time I see Padme on screen, I'm not thinking about how great of a character. I'm just thinking she looks so cute.
I don't think a lot.
She looks cute. She's incredibly cute in that film. Natalie Portman is.
This is what bleeds into the problem for me with Attack of the Clones, though, because you mentioning the way it goes from like happy-go-lucky to the darkness at the end to set up Sith. I think the tonal shift is so bad in it, in terms of there's no gradual. It's just 1 minute it is like them messing around on Coruscant trying to kill an assassin, and then it's like, oh, Anakin's mother's just died. It just kicks in too quickly for me, and then you've got all the politics stuff back on Coruscant. I think it just happens a little too sharp for me. I think when you go to Revenge of the Sith, they get all the nice happy stuff out the way first, like the jokes, oh, the shields are, have you noticed the shields are still up? Like that sort of stuff. But then they quickly remind you that this is going to be the dark one. The music, the ambience, the tone, the lighting. But I don't know, there's a weird sort of atmosphere in Attack of the Clones that I still can't shift, and it's to do with the tonal shift, and I can't ever pinpoint whereabouts in the film it happens exactly. But I don't know. But then again, that scene where Anakin's mother dies, it really, that's the point where you see Hayden Christensen's acting chops. I think there's a lot of people that say he's a rubbish actor, and well, no, he's not. There's a scene where he's really good, and he's really good with his face, his emotions. It's just, you can't help if you're London with a rubbish script, can you? I just think, but yeah, no, we'll get into the you go from, you say that, but you go from Geonosis. Yeah. You go from Anakin massacring the women and the children. Yeah. To they all Gulf War reference, maybe.
To actually going to the Geonosian arena, and that's fun. That's what a lot of the Star Wars fans, all Star Wars fans wanted for years, was a big Jedi battle. There you are. You have it on Geonosis.
But then, do you not think as well, sometimes when we're given what we want, it's a problem. I'm thinking specifically Last Jedi here, when everyone was thinking, oh, we're going to get to see Luke fighting, since Return of the Jedi. How powerful is he going to be? And when no one saw it, they were kind of like, oh, what? Sorry.
Gonna pause this for 2 seconds? Yeah. And we're back!
Yes, we are. Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry. Fanboy culture.
Yeah, sorry, I was saying about, you're saying the Jedi battles, we'd always wanted to see that. And then I was saying just basically that, in Episode 8, when we didn't see Luke get what he wanted, a lot of people were annoyed, whereas it didn't really bother me because
it's the Jedi
I
way.
didn't want to see that anyway. It would have been cool, but would it have served the story? And then that's kind of made me retroactively think, do we need that big Jedi battle at the end of Episode 2? But then I suppose the start of the Clone Wars, you do need a big battle, and
it was
cool. I don't know, it was cool, yeah, it still is cool. I mean, the special effects were great at the time.
For the record, the Jedi way is lose, go into hiding.
Exile.
Yeah. Come on, they all do it. And
Yeah.
but because of the expanded universe and all the fanboys out there who just want to pick holes in everything that Ryan Johnson did, because it's not the way they wanted it, we got to. What would you rather have, George Lucas's sequel trilogy?
No, probably not.
I'm curious now.
I am curious, yeah.
I am curious now.
But you know, one problem in the episode 2 and 3 does have really bad is the secondary villains. I think Phantom Menace has a great secondary villain in Darth Maul. You know, I mean secondary as in like Palpatine's obviously the guy in the background, but you don't really see him very much. I suppose he's the secondary in episode 1, but you know, Darth Maul's got that presence from the start. You know, you think like, who's this guy? This guy's just kicked, you know, 7 bells of shite out of Qui-Gon Jinn. You know, and he's a seasoned Jedi.
Yeah.
What else can he do? And then when the double-bladed lightsaber comes out, you're just thinking, wow, what's going to happen? But
it's going to get broken up by
It's gonna
stuff
get
you don't want to
broken, yeah.
watch.
but
That's the thing. That's one of my
then-
complaints.
I think, you know, you move into like, I love Jango Fett, like you say, but he goes out like a punk. Like, it's just this great bounty hunter that you've set up, like Boba Fett. Like
Yeah.
with that Boba Fett kind of work though, because Indiana Jones did it,
Yeah.
you know, or Han Solo.
Boba Fett, where? Bang.
Yeah, bang, yeah. Killed
But-
by accident. But I just think Jango Fett, you know, I know it's Samuel L. Jackson killing him, but they set up this great guy, and there could have been this great fight between him and Obi-Wan again, you know, because they're the ones that fought originally. That's how I would have done that. And then he just sort of just wastes him in 2 seconds, and you think, well, yeah, what chance does he have against a Jedi?
misfiring
A
rocket
jetpack,
pack,
yeah.
which is
that
also
is a
what
nice
happens-
touch, I must admit, because you don't notice that immediately.
No, but he gets run over by the Reek.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
bulldozed
it's
by the Reek,
sparking
the
and-
sparks.
yeah.
And then Boba Fett fires the rocket pack. Boom.
Yeah.
Sarlacc. So
It's like a... Yeah,
going out like a.
But then, I must admit, in episode 3 as well, even though I'm supposed to be defending it, General Grievous is an awful secondary villain.
He's
He's-
Vader prototype.
Yeah, he was set up so well because we never saw anything about him, and he was
Clone
supposed
Wars
to be this.
miniseries.
Yeah, Clone. I mean, he was supposed to be like this guy that was the head of the Confederacy, and you know, when you watch the other Clone Wars, like the CGI one, the series, that's how he should have been. He's fantastically done in that. He's so scary. It's the same guy that does his voice as well, Matthew Wood, but it's just that's how you imagine him. Like he could slaughter Jedi, you know. But you see him in episode 3, and he's just a coughing mess, walking around like.
And he goes
you
out
just
like
think, "Oh."
fast.
Yeah, and he gets killed by the thing Obi-Wan hates, like
Yeah.
uncivilized weaponry.
in the bit where you see where he and Obi-Wan, because just where he just lops off his lightsaber hand.
Yeah.
The hands of the lightsabers so
And
easily.
Then a quadruple lightsaber threat is just down to 2 again.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that could have been a much better. You know, they could have had more than one Jedi in that battle.
Yeah.
And have him die. It could have been like, you know, like Kirby Mundi or something like that. I mean, I do like the way the Jedi killed him, Sith, but
That's a great bit.
That
That's
is
a great
great,
bit,
yeah, I must
especially the
admit.
music.
yeah, it's so hard, isn't it?
Execute order
66. Yeah, yeah. That's another thing that annoys me about criticisms of episode 3 is, oh well, Ian McDermott just plays Palpatine as a pantomime villain. Like, he's fantastic. Like,
Yeah.
he's born to play that part, and like Palpatine wouldn't work if he was like this.
Voldemort, Ralph.
He's Voldemort, yeah, and he's like,
Harry Potter is dead.
yeah. I mean,
Classic.
read Shakespeare's villains. They're so over the top, it's unbelievable. Like talking to themselves in mirrors, and I know soliloquies are supposed to be said by themselves, but you know the speech that Shakespearean villains use, it's the same. It's over the top. It's melodrama. It's to make the audience go, "Oh, I hate this guy." Like Richard III, what a knob. But that's how Palpatine works. He's that type of villain. The same like you say with Voldemort or Joffrey in Game of Thrones. If Joffrey was eloquent, you wouldn't like it. It's the same thing. Like I don't understand why that's a criticism, because I'm so glad he's coming back.
I'm just more. I remember when I was watching the trailer, I was for number 9. I was more like Harry mode still.
Yeah, no, but it was like when you hear the Emperor
Yeah.
talking, you think, oh yes, here he is.
I watched it live and seeing Ian McDermott came on stage
Yeah,
and said something on the lines of "play it again,"
Roll
and,
it
and
again,
the
yeah.
audience went nuts.
and he could say it for laughing. So,
No.
you know. But yeah, no, I that's one thing I do like about the prequels in general. You have that general Palpatine atmosphere going on in the background, don't you? That he's pulling all the strings. You know, he's Donald Trumping this shit right up.
Except Palpatine's got more charisma.
yeah.
Yeah.
That walks into my second criticism of episode 2, is that it's too political. And I get why it has to be that way, but
There's
you
more
know,
politics in
yeah, no, I
Revenge
know, I know.
and Attack of the
So-
and Phantom Menace.
But I mean, like, there's too many Senate scenes, and it's the criticism that people had of episode 1 when it first came out, wasn't it? That there's committees and trade federations and what the hell's
you
this? We
started
want to see
to go.
Star Wars.
You
Like,
are
but-
starting out with the senators,
yeah,
with the Jedi's going to sort
Yeah, I
out
know,
trade
yeah,
dispute. There's more politics
It's
in Phantom Menace than there is in
But
Attack of the Clones.
I feel like episode 2 is the political movie because like it's the middle one where things are supposed to be getting dark to wind up for the final part, you know, and there's the whole thing about the emergency powers. It's just so when you look at it now, it's just so dumb that you'd leave it in the hands of someone like Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
I mean, I know
But
that has happened
he
before,
was
but representative things.
yeah,
sorry.
but he was fooled into doing it because
He was.
what
yeah,
would
but-
Padme do if she was here?
Yeah, I mean, she wouldn't know for a start, or Bail Organa. You
Yeah.
know? I just think, and are all these other senators like as gullible as Jar Jar, or
You know,
is
they
this just a comment on politics in general? That
make
whole
the
crowd
Republic
will
great
follow you.
again.
yeah, I suppose so. Yeah,
George Lucas was ahead of his time.
he was. I'll grant him that. Like now, all these political scenes seem, I mean, because the separatists. I mean, that's Brexit in space, isn't it? But I mean, for me, episode 2 is always a bit too. It's. I think it flows into the tone shift I was talking about earlier. That at times, the tone's just about to move up, and then we go back to chorus, and we're voting on something more. And you think, just get on with it, please. Like that's what always slowed it down for me a bit. Episode 2, that's what I'm saying. I love the emotional moments, like Anakin's mother dying, and the Geonosis battle scenes, and it's just I think the first half of the movie is so weak. The whole
love
chasing the assassin round and some
It's
Three
fun.
Stooges stuff, and
Cameron,
I don't know.
you
Yeah.
have on Phantom Menace
yeah,
one that was extended for the home release. The pod race.
yeah.
I was like,
I can't defend the pod race.
I'm like going, is this not over yet? And then you got the Three Stooges pit droids.
Yeah.
Because George Lucas likes his fast cars.
Yeah.
So the bit where the chase over Coruscant, which is fantastic, it's well rendered. Still,
Yeah, it's well done. Yeah, it's
it
just-
was just brilliant.
I just think I think when George Lucas has these, these transitionary scenes where we're trying to get a plot point in, right, or we're trying to progress a plot point. I just don't think he's very good at it. Like the pod race is to get the money to win Anakin's freedom.
The
So
pod race
Anakin-
is there, so George Lucas can prove a point that he can
Yeah,
do that.
or that as well. I mean, like,
CGI-wise.
Ancillary wise, yeah, it's proven the special effects, but for the plot, it's to get Anakin moving off Tatooine so he can get into the main galaxy. Then I think in episode 2, that whole chasing the assassin, it's just so they can get the dart, so they can say that it's Jango Fett's dart, so they can go to Geonosis and discover the clones. I just think he's not very good at doing set up plot MacGuffins. The best MacGuffin ever is, ironically, the Death Star plans, because it's this thing that carries on throughout the whole film, like, and you're waiting to see them attack the Death Star because R2's got it stuck
Yeah.
inside him, but they haven't got R2 out of the Death Star yet. So that's it done well, because it's. And same with Han, even all the way from episode 4, he owes Jabba money.
Yeah.
We never saw Jabba originally, so we're
No.
thinking, who is this Jabba guy? And they leave it till Return of the Jedi, and that's well progressed plot.
Yeah.
Whereas I think episode 1, you got the pod race. It happens in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, no, 20 minutes maybe. Half an hour if you're watching the extended one.
Yeah.
And then the outcome anyway, because he's the only human that can do it. Oh, why is that? And then the second one is, let's chase this assassin. Well, they're not going to die because Anakin.
Yeah.
That's the only. I think that's another problem with all of the prequels in general. With the main characters, Anakin, Obi-Wan, Yoda, there's no tension because they're alive in the original trilogy. But then that's why you have the characters like Mace Windu and Padme, because they're not alive, or they're not there at least.
Now, how do you get to the point where you see them in episode 4 without getting to the unless you did them in order? Which
Yeah,
would be
exactly.
impossible.
Yeah.
Because as far as I mean, I know they say it's said otherwise, but to me, these were just afterthoughts. These were.
Yeah, they were. I mean, I think originally the way, because he wrote it out of order deliberately to
Yeah.
make you seem like you've been thrown into it. I don't even think he intended to make the prequels. They were just background to his work.
Yeah.
But that's the problem when you have to go and expand on stuff like that. I think that's the problem with Fantastic Beasts. You're expanding on Harry Potter, Harry friggin' Potter.
Yeah.
And then, you hear about Newt Scamander once in a textbook and you
Yeah.
think, oh, this guy's, the bollocks on like
Yeah.
animals and magical stuff. And then they make an entire, is it supposed to be a trilogy?
More than that, it's like 4 or 5.
And it like The Hobbit as well. They made 3 films out of The Hobbit and it's a 200-page book.
Yeah.
That needed 1 film.
Yeah.
And it's
Money,
where the greed starts to work its way in. Yeah, but I mean, the prequels weren't done like that. They weren't made for money, obviously, but
Yeah.
you could still tell he had love for the world he created. I will give the prequels that, at least, like they have that. You feel like you're in the Star Wars world. So,
Yeah.
like, regardless of the quality of the acting or whatever, it's just you're in that galaxy far, far away, and that's what we were all happy about for these 9 years.
Yeah, I mean, quality of the acting is down. I being slightly off subject by 50 Shades. I watched the first one and it bugged the rubbish. It really is a terrible film, but it bugged the crap out of me that I couldn't figure out if is it bad because of the acting or is it bad because of the script. Then I saw Dakota Johnson in Bad Times at El Royale. I was like, oh,
no, she's a good actor. Yeah, sorry, isn't she?
So it's
and Jamie Dornan's a good actor as well. I've seen him in other things and. He's fine. He's more than serviceable.
But people
so to speak.
go about the crap actors in Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm just going to blame Jake Lloyd and Ahmed Best for all the problems in those films.
Yeah.
And then I don't get it. It's the script. They get told you're paid to do a performance.
Yeah.
You do the performance the best you can. The director and the editors pick the take they want to use. So how is it the fault of the cast?
Yeah, if an architect designs a building badly and the builder builds it that way, it's not the builder's fault.
No.
I mean, indirectly it may be, but it's not. They're given something to do by a set person that's in charge, And I think George Lucas was famously a man that if you said, oh, can I change this a bit? No, that's what I've written. Maybe not originally. I get the impression he was a bit more malleable when they first made the original one. But he had. We've discussed this many times. There was too many yes men around him. Like Rick McCallum's the worst. He just had a producer that was in his pocket, basically. What you need is a producer to say, well, that's rubbish, actually. This would work better.
Yeah.
Which is how I feel like they are now. Kathleen Kennedy I think she's a wonderful boss. She allows the filmmakers to do their thing.
Yeah.
And she doesn't use toxic fan, feedback as her...
That's what Ryan Johnson's new trilogy still like. People, I mean, I don't...
that takes, ironically, balls to do that.
We've said it before, we don't think the fan base know what they want.
No, and it pains me to say, but I think if George Lucas was in charge of it now, would he have still let Ryan Johnson do it? I don't think he would. I think George Lucas cared way too much about what all the fans thought. That's good in a way, but he always said it depressed him how much they hated the prequel trilogy. Well, why did he surround himself with so many people that just agreed with him?
Because
artists should always have people that disagree with them. Because
if you look at it now, people look through these prequels. You go through when a film comes out and it's something you're emotionally connected to. You look at it through rose-tinted glasses. Then it's only after time that you develop a different opinion because you're always going to have bias. But now when you go back and look at it again, I try to, when I'm watching anything that I like, I try to be very objective because I will try, just because I like something from a critic standpoint. If I suddenly just go, well, this is good, this is good, this is good, this is good, and I won't listen to criticism, then that makes me just as bad as the fanboys that hate it. So I'll safely, I would never blame the performances, because at the end of the day, George Lucas said about Jake Lloyd in one of the early documentaries is that when they were showing the casting, that you'd literally have to create the performance of Jake Lloyd.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So rather than getting a natural who'll read the script how he wants it, he'll be picking the script that's really ain't getting the good takes, then piecing it all together.
Yeah.
So that's not Jake Lloyd's fault.
No, and
Ahmed Best was paid to do a role.
Yeah, and it's not fair that they got the flack. I mean, I think Jake Lloyd had to leave acting because he got death threats or something pathetic like that. Like, if that's the only thing in your life and you need to express it by sending people death threats, then that's not his fault. That's your fault. You know, it's the same with what they did to Kelly Marie Tran. You know, like I wasn't a particular massive fan of the character of Rose, but now I am because of what's happened to her. Now I'm behind her. Like I want to see her progress more and have a character a bit. So she was one of two weak points of me for 8, but now there's only one because now I feel like the way she's been treated has sort of made me think, well, you know what, I'll give her. Why shouldn't I give her a chance as well? You know, and I want to see her be happy in episode 9.
I was so gutted when she came off of Instagram because she's
Yeah,
a geek, and watching her go to premieres with her little goodie bags that she brings carrying with her, I was like,
who she is in real life made me
relatable.
think differently about the character, you know, so much. It's just it goes the other way as well. I mean, there's characters that you love that are played by absolute like idiots in real life,
and then the characters you absolutely despise, but you like the actor.
So nice, yeah.
I absolutely despise Kylo Ren, but I
Adam
really love Adam Driver.
And same with Ray Fiennes.
Oh, he's horrible in
Schindler's List. Amon Goeth in Schindler's List.
Yeah.
And then you see him in real life and he's the nicest guy ever.
He's brilliant. And I love it when he plays good guys.
Yeah.
He's great in Official Secrets, he is. I mean, you want, with the convention circuits, you really want the people that are in the films that you love to be genuinely great
cool people. Yeah.
And I loved, like I said, I've already said it. I met Andy Secombe who played Watto this year, and Daniel Logan who played young Boba Fett, and
young Warwick.
And Warwick. I met Warwick a few times over the last 25 years. And the thing is, I get really nervous around.
Yeah.
Because I around celebrities, but watching Daniel Logan interacting with fans as I was waiting to meet him, I actually said when it was my turn to actually meet him, I actually said to him, "You are so cool," because of the way he was interacting with the kid. You're just watching it, and the way he was talking, going everything to him. And I was like, "This Boba Fett is cool."
Yeah.
Daniel Logan
Boba Fett
is cooler.
Boba Fett's like the original sort of. I don't know, like when you get those guys in films that you can't describe why you think they're cool and they're not really in it very much. He was like the original background character that we thought, I want to see more of him.
Yeah.
Like I would have killed to have seen a Boba Fett movie done over the years with Daniel Logan.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And I think it kind of morphed into The Mandalorian, didn't it, in the end? So
it's all your fault, all you people who
we may yet see him.
Yeah,
he doesn't necessarily have to be dead.
It's all these people that it's more Mandalorian. I think was always on the cards, but it's all these people that wanted. They didn't want the Star Wars spin-offs. That's why Obi-Wan went from movie to TV series.
In a way, though, I'm kind of glad it's went to TV series.
Get more of Ewan McGregor. Come on, me. If you like Ewan McGregor, watch Moulin Rouge. It's absolutely fantastic film.
But I think. Shall I go into why I think episode 1 and 3 are?
Yeah, I think we've got.
Then you can tear me down. The main reason I think episode 1 and episode 3 work over the middle is because of the bookend. I think if you cut out the trade dispute rubbish and like the Senate, I must admit the Senate scenes don't work in episode 1 as well as they do in episode 2, even though I'm not fond of them. But episode 1's, by the numbers, it's a new hope. It's like we have to do this to stop this. We find this kid along the way, who's on a desert planet. We free him from his rubbish life and take him to be a Jedi. It is a new hope again, essentially, but in reverse. It's Luke's father instead of Luke, and obviously the Darth Maul stuff, like sensational, and John Williams with Jewel of the Face. And then you have this wonderful bookend with episode 3, I think, where it closes the whole saga, like that hope is there, even though, it's that thing we always wanted to see, Vader in the costume and the first breath. I still love that moment, where there's silence and you just hear the breathing. But yeah, no, I think 3 is a wonderful like mirror image of 1, where the old guard are gone now. You know, episode 1, the Jedi are still at the height of their powers. You know, the Republic's still there, and then within, as it's 15 years or something.
Yeah.
You know, like the Republic's gone, the Empire's back. Well, the Empire's here, and the Jedi are dead. You know, I think that's a wonderful sort of. It's a whole fall of the Roman Empire thing, I think, mixed with the rise of Hitler, and it's done so. Metaphorically, that's done so well in Star Wars. I think loads of people always pick up on Palpatine as being like that sort of Caesar or Hitler figure, don't they? You know, and I think that journey is really good through the prequels. I don't think many people appreciated it at the time.
No, they're so serious though.
They are so serious.
That's the thing, and it's at times with I enjoy them. I just want to point this out because it's hard doing this without going into the whole hater thing.
Yeah.
But politics, episode 1, it's like politics. A little bit of fun. Politics, ETs for fan service.
Pod race.
Yeah.
And sadly, the pod race is probably the fun of that film,
yeah,
isn't it?
it
Like,
is. Then Darth Maul.
Darth
Okay,
Maul
a little bit.
kicks
You see the
ass.
Emperor the first time as a hologram, like you do in Empire Strikes Back in the
Yeah,
original
which is a nice
timeline.
little.
Yeah,
Cool.
but and was it? They have the was it? I have a bad feeling about this at the start of
yeah, Obi-Wan says it, doesn't he?
yeah.
Keep your feelings in the now.
Yeah. So that was like, yeah, that's good. I was like, yeah, let's tie it directly in. Yeah, I'll give it Duel of the Fates and Battle of the Heroes, two
Oh.
John Williams' best
And Across the
themes.
Stars as well. I mean, you can't ever fault John Williams
Oh.
with anything. I mean, there's no weak score
No,
from John Williams.
but yeah, Padme changes her costume every 5
Yeah, it's
minutes.
annoying. She's kind of like, that's where her daughter gets it from, isn't it?
Her daughter decided
Well, I
Leia.
suppose, yeah,
Leia has
she
the same costume. She had
each
one
film,
costume
yeah.
in A New Hope. Well,
She does
two.
change costumes in Return of the Jedi quite a lot.
She has been one in the new, well, two in A New Hope because you got the original, you got the where she was the whole
Throne
film
room.
in the throne room.
Yeah.
Empire, you've got the Hoth,
And the Cloud City.
Cloud City, and final scene, which is
Oh, yeah.
then you got Bush, Slave Leia, Ewok Leia, and
The Rebel Leia.
Rebel
Kinda
Leia.
like-
So you got
yeah.
four. You got 4
And
costumes.
there is a question I really want to ask about the Ewok outfit. Where did they get a fully human-sized dress from?
And how did they sew it? How
And
did they
how
get the
did they?
sizes right?
Yeah, that's a plot hole someone brought up on the
Have you
internet.
seen
and I
Ewok
never
figures? They
even
got like
thought of it.
3 fingers.
Yeah.
How do they do it?
And, anyways, sorry, that was just a random.
Do they have
plot hole.
Ewok seamstresses?
And maybe
Do they have like a Primark?
I don't know how she just had to hold still like really, really long time. But she does change outfits a lot. doesn't she?
Yeah.
Especially in episode 1. And I was really confused in episode 1 with all the decoy stuff.
I kind of figured it
used to
all out
think-
because of the toys that came out beforehand.
Yeah, I didn't realise though because I didn't see any of the toys. I did, but I didn't like place them with anything. And when you keep seeing all these different queens, you think that doesn't look like Natalie Portman, but maybe it's just different light. Or
It's one
something.
of them Sophia Coppola and the other
Yeah,
one, the dominant one is
Keira
Keira
Knightley.
Knightley.
Yeah.
So I thought that thing was and Brian Blessed, Nas, aha, he'll
Yeah.
save every one of us.
Yeah,
So I couldn't
I
resist that.
must admit, that's
But I'm not mocking it. Brian Blessed's good.
it's just
But
loud.
yeah, and you saw Isa, and but some of the dialogue is clunky.
It is
It's
bad.
really
Yeah,
clunky.
I must admit.
You mean I get to come with you on a Star Cruiser?
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking Jake Lloyd. I'm not knocking the script. I mean, I'm gonna
Yeah.
say
Well,
right
I'm
now,
knocking the script.
yeah, I'm gonna say now, the whole love scene in episode 2, "I'm haunted by the kiss," is one of the worst bits of dialogue maybe in the whole
Yeah,
saga.
I
But
don't
that's
know, it's-
not taken away from some of the dialogue. Are you an angel?
Yeah, or what's the other one in Sith? No, that's because I'm so in love with you.
That's Attack of the
Oh.
Clones. I cringed.
It's
No, that is
like-
Revenge of the
yeah,
Sith.
in
No, that is Revenge of the
yeah,
Sith.
when they're talking about the moving to.
But we're going to bring politics again into it. We're talking about love and
And-
raising our baby on Naboo.
There's that really jarring scene, isn't there, in episode 3, where they're sitting on that bench, and it looks like they were sitting in complete silence when the shot goes to them,
Mm.
and she's like, "Do you think we're on the wrong side?" You know, like it's so on the nose. Like the audience is probably thinking that. You know, you don't need to tell us that sort of thing. And oh no, you're starting to sound like a separatist. You know, I
So
I hate that
clunky.
scene. It's just. It's you don't need to tell people what they're already thinking. It's what the original trilogy does so well.
Yeah.
You don't need to tell people what they may already be thinking. You know, Tarantino doesn't do that.
But it's very soap opera-ish.
It is very soap opera. Yeah.
So we're going to say what we are actually,
Yeah.
because we can't emote it any other way.
And it's a shame because George Lucas didn't come from that type of filmmaking. He came from like a pure school of filmmaking where his own stuff was his own stuff. You know,
American Graffiti
American
created
Graffiti,
the T
yeah,
movie,
THX.
modern day science fiction.
I mean, I always like that quote from Francis Ford Coppola where he says like, "I'm still waiting for this independent post Star Wars film from George Lucas," and I think he will make it. You know,
I hope he does.
I
want
don't know.
it.
Yeah.
I really want it. I think if you watch American Graffiti THX, and even there are some strokes of genius in the prequels.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And I tell you one thing that hit me the other day when I was doing this, and this, you know, I write my notes and I'm like, I can remember the characters' names. One thing that the new series, and this is not knocking it, we'll say this for another time, is that the character names are so much more memorable.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
George Lucas has a better way than others to
yeah.
actually making memorable names and memorable characters.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like there's even some of the like the background Jedi, you know, well not the background Jedi, but the Jedi you don't see very much.
Ki-Adi
We all know their
Mundi,
names because of the visual guides and stuff. You know,
was it? I see now.
Adigalia and
yeah,
you know, and all that. So, and then if you watch the Clone Wars series, they get more screen time, which is quite nice. So you get to see them. Like usually, most of them have their own sort of story arc in each season, and they have their own apprentice, and it's nice to see like that world expanded. And I suppose I do owe Attack of the Clones the existence of the Clone Wars to that, you know, because it's the first kickoff of all that stuff, isn't it? Although there is another thing I really don't like in Attack of the Clones is how forced Death Star cameo thing is into it. I always thought it would have been better seeing the Death Star as you see it in Revenge, where you're like, wow, there's a Death Star out the window. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
I liked it because it's a nice little bit. You're just seeing it as it goes forward. You could argue that's like Han Solo being put in carbonite. You've just been given this thing. Oh no, sorry, tell like it's like there is another. It's like that's that little thing. It's like, oh wow, this is the thing.
I think it's too on the nose though, like because we know that's going to happen at some point. So it would have been nice not being reminded of it till the last second. You know, where you see it out the window of that man that's uncannily looks like Peter Cushing.
Yeah.
Being built, that would have been. I think that would have had more impact.
I liked it. I did like it, and just seeing it there where it all came from.
Yeah, the Geonosians.
Yeah.
There is an episode in Rebels actually where you find out the Empire wiped them all out, so they couldn't tell anyone that they built it. You know, and it's kind of like wow, that's really sort of Nazi-ish.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I don't know. I think that always grated on me, that scene. What about then? You have to attack my films now.
Okay. Yeah. About the whole bit in the Senate. Order.
Yeah.
In here is where there's it's like, okay, this is the bad guy. We know it's the bad guy. We know Palpatine is the bad guy. Pod race is way too long. The bit in Revenge of the Sith, goodbye Chewbacca, good friend you have been. When you're watching it the first few times, it's like, oh no, he's saying goodbye to the audience, not to Chewbacca, because they're basically only met a while ago.
It's the Death Star moment for me again, but you know, like for you in that film, I think it's the version of that. Like when they fan service it a bit too much.
Yeah, it's like he's saying goodbye, and that is so telegraphed that as soon as Yoda says goodbye to Chewie, good friend you have been. It's like, goodbye, Star Wars fans. We're now in the third act. Yeah. Here is the third act.
Next time you see it, it'll be in Empire.
Yeah. It's you got to have the big battle with Thingy first, but this is This is where everything goes boom, and to me that's too telegraphed. That's the start of the third act.
George Lucas doesn't do subtlety later.
No, and
I think that's one of the good things about the new films. Actually, like, they have taken the chances and the risks and kept people in the dark about who's who.
But then again, George Lucas took risks in Empire Strikes Back, having the big battle at the start
of
the film, and having Darth Vader as... I always wondered, and this is something we're going to debate, I hope, soon, if Empire Strikes Back had been released today, all the fanboys would be crying out
Yeah.
because how can Darth Vader be Luke Skywalker's father?
I think it's very much the Last Jedi of the old trilogy. Like, maybe if it had been released today, it would have probably got the same
Yeah,
reaction.
people wouldn't be able to handle it because of, like I said, all these keyboard warriors just wanting to slate it because it's not how they want it. You can't have the villain being the hero's father.
Yeah, or like if you did that today and getting rid of Han like that, you know, people would probably kick off now, wouldn't they? You know, can't do that to Han.
I got to wait 3 years to find out what's happening to Han Solo.
Yeah. Which was a good thing about Episode 7 where they killed him off.
Yeah.
In a way, it wasn't good.
That was shocking.
It was like, wow, I didn't think they'd go there. Because I always knew he wanted the character to die a long time ago, didn't he?
Yeah.
In a galaxy far away.
He's got no mommy, he's got no daddy.
Yeah. So I think that was only the only logical way for him to go out of the story in general, wasn't it? And Luke as well. I mean, all three of them probably would have to die at some point.
I didn't like I know for the theatrical, the puppet of Yoda.
Yeah,
I know it was an improvement on the original.
That is.
But it was supposed to be an improvement mechanically on the original, but it didn't look like Yoda. Then they CG'd him to made it look like
in Attack of the Clones, eyes, doesn't he? And it's just weird. Like when Yoda looks weird, I don't like it because Yoda's supposed to be this like really cool old guy that's quite funny sometimes. And that's another thing I must admit. Like you mentioned earlier that the prequel's seriousness, like Yoda just seemed like a miserable old, like wizened old man in it, doesn't he? Whereas when you watch him in Empire, he does fleet between being a little joker sometimes, you know. And I like seeing that in Last Jedi.
Yeah, Yoda is Empire, Jedi, and Last Jedi because that is the thing. But the puppet in Phantom Menace, terrible.
Yeah.
I know what they were trying to accomplish with it. Then they CGI'd him, which fits in with Episode 2, but it's not the thing that you said. At least in Attack of the Clones, you know, when there's a transmission from
not Geonosis.
Sorry, it's
Kamino.
Kamino. Obi-Wan goes, send Carson via the old folks' home. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
But
I never used to know what that meant when I was younger. I used to think, did he just say that? Yeah. See, this is another attack I have to mount on Attack of the Clones. And it's the worst film to have him in. I can't stand Samuel L. Jackson as Mace Windu. I don't know what it is. I just think he's so annoying and on the nose. And I don't mind him in Episode 1 or 3 so much because in 3 he's kind of getting, you know, he's fighting, and it's cool to see Samuel L. Jackson fighting anything. And whereas in Episode 1 he doesn't really say much. He just says like, "Is this a child you've been talking about?" He's so, I don't know. He just really comes across as quite pompous.
He speaks in sound bites and exposition.
Yeah,
you know, Count Dooku was a Jedi.
Yeah.
It's like, boom, we've got his name already out there. He more serves the plot.
Yeah, he is.
By telling you what's going on and what's going to happen.
Exposition.
Yeah.
No, he is. I think he's just a really weak character. And it's weird because Samuel L. Jackson usually gives his all in it. I mean, I'm not saying he didn't, but it looks like a favour role more than like I wrote this role seriously. I mean, I know he wrote the name Mace Windu was in his original draft for Star Wars, but I don't think it was that character. You know, and it's just, I think, I don't know, he just really annoys me in the prequels for some reason.
I like him because he has another one of my favourite lines. This party's over.
Yeah. But, I mean, that is one. I must admit, that is one good thing about Episode 2, Christopher Lee.
Oh, Christopher Lee,
Christopher Lee.
But he goes out like a bitch in Episode 3, though.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, but that's to show how powerful Anakin is, surely, isn't it?
How easily he let you do it, kill it.
Yeah, and that's another criticism levied at the prequels, isn't it? How easily Anakin's manipulated. But then you think, how many times have you been manipulated by someone you think you trusted? You know, I know he's Palpatine's a bit more. If you saw him, you'd be like, yeah, I don't trust this guy. He's a bit on the nose. But you know, some people in your life you have trusted, and you found out they've betrayed you. And it is so hurting.
Yeah.
But and you can tell that when he becomes Vader, he knows he's done the wrong thing, and that this guy is not good for him. But I think like the dark side, they've said in some of the expanded universe novels, and you know, normal stuff as well. The dark side's like a drug.
Yeah.
And you crave more and more of it, and that's that wonderful relationship between Palpatine and Vader. Like they absolutely can't stand each other, and especially Vader. I mean, he knows Palpatine's responsible ultimately, indirectly, for killing Padme because he made him do it, but he just knows he can't challenge him because he's this. I think this
Cross
whole
lightning.
yeah. I think this whole thing about him being in a metal suit, it maybe wasn't planned, but
Yeah.
it's to Palpatine's advantage that he's got this powerful
Bit
chosen
lackey.
on a leash. Yeah. I mean, and if you watch Vader in A New Hope, he is a lackey.
Yeah, the second, third in command after
Yeah. Third fiddle, definitely.
Tarkin. I have the high Anakin. It's over, Anakin. I have the high ground. Doesn't matter where you are, Anakin. Obi-Wan will always have the high ground.
Yeah, but I do have the title of the podcast in my film.
Yeah. Yeah. Padme giving birth. That was that scene's terrible. That really wound me up because she's no longer the strong female hero like Princess Leia was. She's just.
I mean, Leia starts off kind of damselly, but then she quickly proves that she can.
She done it right from the start. Lord Vader, I should have known you'd be holding.
Yeah, no, I know, yeah. But I mean, I think
it's like Governor Tarkin. I feel
she's she's supposed to be the damsel archetype, isn't she? But then they twist it because she can handle a gun and she can fight. And
Lord Vader, only you could be so bold. I knew the Imperial. Yeah, that whole thing. But Padme, first one. With the fake British accent.
She's really strong though, isn't she? Like as a character.
Yeah.
Like, the Queen Amidala's are really like you do think, wow, she reminds me of Leia. Like you root for her, and even in Attack of the Clones, I must admit. But yeah,
she's eye candy in Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
But in Revenge, but she's eye candy who does things her way. Even the Captain Panaka. Says. It's her I'd be more concerned about.
Yeah, like.
But in Revenge of the Sith, all she is pregnant and speaking exposition. Anakin, you're breaking my heart. You're leading down a path, and it's sort of like
it's forced.
It's
all. No pun intended.
She's no longer. Yeah.
No,
Leia, I'm going to die now because I've got a broken heart because my husband just killed loads of women and children.
I think she's the abused wife, isn't she?
Yeah.
Like, the one that doesn't. No, my husband didn't do that. Or if he did, then it was for a reason, And and I don't like the whole Luke Leia like so quickly. I think it would have worked way more if they just sort of.
The funeral was good.
Her father and mother's name.
Yeah.
Or something like that, like because you never hear about her parents.
No.
The funeral scene.
That was brilliant, and it does elicit emotions, and the whole thing does. But and the battle's brilliant.
Oh yeah, fantastic! It's still the best lightsaber battle for me. Just the intensity of the mirroring with Yoda and Palpatine, and then you've got the guys.
You care for these two.
Yoda and Palpatine were never friends. They've always been suspicious that they're the champions of each other's force, type of different side of the force. Whereas with Anakin and Obi-Wan, you have got that genuine tragedy where like. Two brothers have been forced to fight each other,
and it's all done by a little puppet master Palpatine.
And he's thousands of miles away. He's controlling it, and like the lava splattering up and that. It's the emotions are running high, the rage and that's a fantastic scene. I must admit.
I find it unique because I went for a while without watching for all the reasons. Like I said, I think it's the worst kind of Catholicism, but. When it gets to the the redemption of Return of the Jedi, so
it worked then,
but for that, and I don't like the film because the making Anakin a child murderer, and going out and doing all the stuff he does, it completely destroys the ambiguity. It does, and that really annoys me. But it gets when you get to the point where Anakin and Obi-Wan are fighting. You always want the ending of the film if you're emotionally invested in characters, which only comes because of Attack of the Clones. You always want the outcome of the film to change. It's nobody can watch Revenge of the Sith one time or you can watch it 1,000 times. The ending's always going to be the same.
It's like
but you want the ending to change every time you watch it.
The same parallel, and you haven't seen it yet, but you must watch it. Is in season 1 of Game of Thrones where I'm not going to spoil this because it's Sean Bean, but he gets killed. And you get into the episode where he does get killed, and you're thinking, that's going to go differently because I absolutely love this character. And then you're in your head, you're thinking, please be different. And it's the same every time. And like, it's with Revenge of the Sith, that's how the story has to end because this is what we came to see. This is like, how did he become Vader? This is what we want to see. And even then, you do still think, please just put those lightsabers down and
Yeah.
go and kill Palpatine.
I remember. I mean, for me, with Revenge of the Sith, the first time I was watching it, and I'm quite expecting it with the number 9. Is I become so emotionally invested because you spend so many time
Yeah.
with these films. So with Attack of the Clones, because it was the middle one, for me, even now when I think back to it, of where I was when I saw it, which wasn't a good point in my life, but I think to that, and I think that was fun. That was a nice bit of fun. And sometimes
Yeah.
it's like but with Revenge of the Sith, because it was the last, it came out. I just turned 30. I turned 30 when Revenge of the Sith came out. And I was seeing someone at the time, and and Star Wars is ending as I'm entering a different
phase
of my life.
I think I was 17, so I was just finishing sixth form.
Yeah, and I was really, I was in tears for a lot of the film because it was I thought at that time it was the last time I'm going to see Star Wars on the big screen. So I have that emotion attached to Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Whereas I've got fun emotion attached to Attack of the Clones, and I've got more fun attached to Phantom Menace. The special editions, I was at university. I was at another different part of my life. So when I think of that part, and I think of growing up with Star Wars, you associate, and when you're doing, we're discussing Attack of the Clones versus Phantom Menace, Revenge of the Sith, you can't help but take where you were. I mean, even watching the other day when I was watching these films, watching Attack of the Clones for me was a fun film. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to go into the whole things about slating performances, like we've already said, or slating.
It's not part of my argument.
No,
in fact, as to why it's the weakest.
And it's like you pointed out to me the other day when we were having a laugh and joke about it. That I said about Watto. He's also in episode 1, so you try to render my argument obsolete. And a lot of people, how many people can actually say that they actually like the character of Watto? Because he's one of these ones that everybody picks up on. But after watching John Carter of Mars, I appreciated episode 2 more because it's traditional science fiction fantasy. But I mean, I don't want to pick holes in the Revenge of the Sith and Phantom Menace for no reason. I mean, they're both long films.
Yeah.
And at times they can be, like I said, the pod race is far too long.
Yeah.
The stuff at the Senate.
Yeah.
You got to do half strokes of genius with the monsters breaking the Trade Federation at the start. The monsters breaking through the doors of the Jedi's, whereas the real villains are the ones that are cowering from the viceroys. The ones that are cowering away from these monster Jedi who breaking through the doors, who are being manipulated by the Phantom Menace in question, which is the hologram of Lord Darth Sidious.
Yeah. Seeing that from like the Jedi from the bad guys' perspectives for a change, wasn't it? Like, they're coming through the door. Oh my God! Like having stopped them. Whereas it's always from the Jedi perspective usually, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or like the good guy in general. Yeah, I do like that moment actually. That's really, I never thought of that. I think
I got that from somewhere. That's not mine. That is not mine.
Strengthened my argument there.
But that's not mine, by the way. That's someone I can't remember where I got it from, but that is not my argument. I don't want to take credit for that one.
It's good though. I never realized.
But another thing is, you watch Christopher Lee. Another good thing about episode 2, he goes out like a biatch in the third one.
Yeah.
But in episode 2, I didn't really hit me till the other day. You know when he's got Obi-Wan captive, he literally tells the Obi-Wan everything he's saying to Obi-Wan about the Senate's being controlled by. He tells everybody the truth. He's not lying. He's basically dobbing his boss in.
Yeah, he's saying you can join us. Or
the Senate is being controlled by the Dark Lord of the Sith, who's manipulated. Everything is true.
And I think
Christopher Lee's fantastic.
He generally does feel sorry that Qui-Gon is dead.
Yeah,
because it was his apprentice, wasn't it? And
plus you find out Qui-Gon was trained by Qui-Gon. Yoda trained Dooku. Dooku trained Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon trained Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan trained Anakin and Luke. Luke trained Kylo. It's like failures. How many Jedi have they're all failures?
They don't seem to have a good success, really, do they?
And Rey.
and Rey.
They got Luke. Even Luke messes up and goes into hiding as well.
Yeah, but that's like for me that's the Jedi way as well. Not failure, but accepting that you have failed and moving on. You know, like when he says to Yoda in that Last Jedi, he says about how many times he's failed, doesn't he? And
Yeah.
Yoda just basically says, "Well, it doesn't matter. Like it's you did what you could."
Yeah.
You know, I can't remember what the exact things that he says, but it's probably something great in Yoda-esque. But it's just, I think with the Sith, failure is punished with death, and it, you know, everything is an absolute. Like Obi-Wan says, you know, you are this or you are that, or you're this but not that, or we're us and not them. You know, it's whereas the Jedi, they are a little hypocritical, I must admit, but you do get that sense that their failure to them is not the end. Like they just get up and try again, sort of thing. You know. Like,
Let's go from a note from a few months ago when I was supposed to be ironing. Yeah, I was watching Rangers
always
with a
better.
notepad. It's brilliant. Padme is so selfish
Yeah,
in
she's
Revenge of the Sith. You know, giving birth to just dying.
yeah, how
Vader.
dare she?
No! Frankenstein.
Yeah.
It's Frankenstein.
Yeah,
It is, and where you clunky come down.
But
I know it's meant to be that.
It
but
could have been a good Frankenstein if he hadn't said that. You know.
Yeah. Then
Just
if
the
it-
whole thing about him destroying all the equipment was enough.
Yeah,
Of a no, I thought.
but it was.
It's when they sort of inserted it into Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, that's
so
terrible. I'm really annoyed.
That's definitely a no moment that you don't need a no for.
I mean, because Revenge of the Sith does have good points. In the Senate, when Padme says, "So this is how liberty dies,"
That's
with
a good-
thunderous
yeah.
applause.
I
That is good. That's George Lucas showing greatness.
Yeah, and she's wearing the Rebel Alliance headset as well.
Yeah.
Headdress.
And you know, I'm glad that
I like
you,
Bail Organa as well. I think
Jimmy
he's-
Smith.
yeah,
Thank you. Attack of the Clones. Jimmy
he's
Smith.
a really good sort of foil for Palpatine in. And if you watch Clone Wars as well, he's actually.
Jimmy Smith do the voice.
I think he does actually.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to watch
At
that.
least a few times, and he's really good in that as well because he's in the background. He's trying to do all the Senate stuff legitimately, you know, to oppose the emergency powers and stuff. And it's a shame that when you see him in Rogue One, you know he's gonna die soon. You know, that was a good cameo as well, actually.
I like Jimmy Smith. I'm gonna find out if you're right. Jimmy Smith.
I'm sure it is.
He's Amy Santiago's father in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So
He's a imposing guy as well, isn't he?
he's brilliant.
Oh, maybe it's not then.
Yeah. What year was it?
Well, the actual series started in 2008, I think. Oh, maybe it's not then. I thought it was. It sounds like him, whoever it is.
He's in 2 episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine as Victor Santiago. I like him. He has that thing about him.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
him.
He's like a big imposing guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
But it's unusual to have him.
He looks like
that.
he looks originally
Yeah, but I mean I was going to say I thought he was a bad guy when I first saw him because he's so big and imposing. But then you think, oh, this is Leia's dad. Like,
Yeah.
what? It does have a good cast actually, the prequels, doesn't it?
That's a
It's
fantastic.
got some
cast.
good like character actors in there, and obviously like
Tamara
the
Morrison.
big heavy hitters, Christopher Lee and Ian McDermott.
Yeah. A lot of episode 1 is, you know, it's all, you know, you got all these new planets and everything, and it's like, let's show Coruscant other than a little snippet we had in the special editions
Yeah,
and everything, and how it's, yeah. And a lot of the characters, yeah, they don't talk to each other, they talk at each other.
yeah.
They do. You know, Count Dooku was. No,
Once a
sorry,
Jedi.
that's that.
Yeah,
I'm not supposed to
that
do
really
that.
annoys me.
And Revenge of the Sith, where whining Anakin because he you know he's on the council, but he's not a master.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna cry
That's
now.
really like, yeah, that's such a stupid decision to lose your nut, isn't it? But
Yeah.
One thing I do on episode 3, I do kind of feel for Anakin a little bit because he is being pushed aside by these people that were supposed to be the role models in his life.
He broke all the rules.
I know, but you still like if he's chosen one, then like aren't they supposed to maybe make some exceptions to those rules.
You thought they could have changed it all, and it's all Mace Windu's, not Mace Windu. It's all Qui-Gon Jinn's fault.
Yeah,
Yoda
it is. Yeah,
and Mace Windu didn't want him trained.
no,
There you are.
he is too old.
Now,
Yeah, no, they always said Qui-Gon was quite rebellious, though, didn't they?
yeah, and Ewan, Obi-Wan Kenobi basically continues it. So
Yeah.
I'm going to do what Qui-Gon wanted,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but it's it's you'll never change my opinion. Attack of the Clones is just I like it because it is
no, but
is
I don't want to
fun.
change it. You know, it's just that's just my opinion.
And another thing, a take on Christianity. Shmi Skywalker, Anakin's conceived by the Force.
Yeah, I know. Or Palpatine,
Virgin
depending
birth.
on expanded universe.
I mean, that's still canon.
I don't know. Well, there's a theory that Darth Plagueis made Anakin because he can create life. With
So that makes
midichlorians.
Shmi a liar.
So yeah, but I mean, but there's a
Conceived by the Force.
Catholicism thing running through the whole thing, really, isn't there? Like there's a chosen one figure in each trilogy. And...
But Anakin died saving his son, so he died, but he didn't redeem his sins.
Yeah,
He didn't.
or he did, but then
Didn't redeem all of his sins.
no, he didn't. Yeah,
He saved his
But-
son after.
he is Space Jesus still, isn't he? Really, him and Neo from the Matrix. But
Yeah, that also came.
so,
kind of-
yeah, that was weird. Yeah, but no, yeah, there is quite a lot of religious iconography in Star Wars. There isn't there?
Loads.
You can tell he did dip into the cultural pot to get
Yeah.
all these different myths and religions on. It shouldn't really work, but for some reason it did. You know,
Yeah.
it's just
But when you're so invested in these movies,
Yeah.
you just take what they say as being it. Whether if they say
Yeah.
it, then that's right. And sometimes when you overanalyze,
yeah. It
These
kind of
things-
takes the
look at those. I'm sorry, I'm not going to name them, but after Last Jedi came out,
oh, I know who you mean.
these nerds. I'm going to go back a little bit and say, but as we're doing this, we're looking at each other and everything, and we're having this informal conversation. We're not saying what we're right, we're wrong. But after Last Jedi came out,
I'm right. I am
there's a
right
video. Pardon?
I am right
You're not right. You're not right. But there are these geeks are sitting around on YouTube. Look it up if you want, and just slating episode 8. And
Yeah,
it's like for an hour,
But it's like, yeah, what 20 reasons why episode 8 sucks.
and you're
And it's
thinking
just, oh well.
it got my back up
Like,
because
yeah, it's,
if
I
you're
mean,
gonna,
it should just be review.
yeah.
I shouldn't say why it sucks because immediately you're saying, I hate the whole thing. There's nothing good about
Then
it.
why
That's
have you
not
got
true
all
of
Star
any-
Wars stuff in front of you
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you're doing
exactly.
it?
Yeah, and there's no film where that's true that everything is terrible.
I'm just going to lean over a little second and just grab a little thing that's actually sitting near me.
It's not a sex toy.
It's not. I forgot I had like yeah. I forgot I had lying around a couple of figurines of Boba and Jango. So there you are. So we can actually have it as if we are doing one of these things where the Kevin Smith says it. Why should I do reviews of films and stuff I don't like? Why should I waste my time watching stuff I don't like? And the thing is, I agree with that thing. I mean,
Yeah.
for my other channel, I do reviews, and it's so much easier to slate something you don't like. But personally, I'd rather not do that because it's a lot of negative energy in it.
Yeah,
But
I like
I-
doing the opposite. I like trying to find good things in things that people hate. You know,
Fine.
like
Plan 9,
yeah,
that's
well,
the most
or like
interesting-
the opposite way around. You know, like you could probably go through a New Hope and find things that. Maybe
I
don't
want to
work
do
as
that
well now,
because I
you
think
know.
that's a perfect film. I
It is
really
a
want
perfect,
a
yeah. I mean, it's as close to a perfect film
Yeah.
as you can. I don't think there is a perfect film out there, but
We came out. We saw Schindler's List 20th anniversary edition
yeah,
a few months ago, and I came out of this film.
yeah. I couldn't find anything
Oh.
wrong with it.
I
It's
was being a
hard.
real a-hole that day because I was loving the film, and I was great to show you. I experienced it with you and
Yeah,
my
I've always wanted
fiance.
to see that.
I loved sharing this film, but when I was watching it, because I wanted to find fault in it.
Yeah.
Not in terms of story.
Not in
I think
like
there's-
a knobby way.
no,
Just,
but
yeah.
I wanted to. Am I right? Is this to me the perfect film? And I walked out of. I walked out of it thinking, I still can't find fault in Schindler's List.
Yeah.
A
It's
while
the same
ago,
with A New Hope, though, isn't it?
I picked something up a while ago.
Yeah, the only
can't
thing
remember
I
what it
picked
was.
up is, but it's one of those like if it was out nowadays things. So I
Yeah.
don't know if it's really like where I said the pace might do it harm now.
Yeah, it's slow.
It's quite a slow moving action film, but it if you watch it, like obviously we can't not watch it with fondness, but I think the tone, I think the pace is perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, nowadays people would definitely be like, "That's quite slow moving." You
That's
know, like
really-
you compare it to your John Wicks and your,
Yeah.
you know, your Hunger Games and stuff like that. You know, I freaking love John Wick, but like yeah, the pace of all the original trilogy films are quite. You know, I think Return of the Jedi's probably got the fastest pace, but you know, even the stuff in Jabba's palace and like you say, getting the big battle out of the way first in Empire, that would not go down well
No.
now. You know, that's like anti-filmmaking almost, isn't it? You know,
It was
because there's a lot of expositionary stuff that happens in Empire in the middle.
You have the heartfelt stuff at the end.
Yeah,
Just reversing.
and you have the emotional, you know, like the Vader climax.
Oh, brilliant.
But that wouldn't work if it was just constant action. It's the way it's cut is fine as well, where we keep cutting between Leia and Lando and Chewie and the droids fighting the stormtroopers and the fight with Luke and Vader. You know, that works because you're chopping and changing quickly, and it's something they do in Episode 3 with the Anakin and Obi-Wan and Yoda and
big space battle.
Like, yeah, get the battles so they're intercutting between each other, and you don't know which one's going to win first.
And the big space battle is at the start, literally at the start.
Yeah,
and it does it does.
It seems it shouldn't work, but it does.
I want to say another thing about Phantom Menace as I've got the IMDb page up. It was this is another reason why sometimes I and this is not from the film itself, is you could argue that Phantom Menace came out at the dawn of the internet starting to become popular.
And CGI.
Toxic fan culture.
Yeah.
So you've got the likes of Jake Lloyd and Ahmed Best,
who don't have careers now because of
and who
It was nice to see, I must admit, in the Clone Wars series, Ahmed Best plays Jar Jar Binks.
It was nice to see him at
And it was
conventions
nice-
this year
yeah,
getting the
And it
applause.
was nice to see, like, you know, because whether you like him or not, he is that character.
Yeah.
You know, and it would be like casting someone else as C-3PO.
I've always liked Jar Jar because he was
I don't
good
mind
comic
him.
relief.
I just think
I just don't like the way the fans treated him.
no one deserves that.
Keep
And
me
again,
right off.
it swayed me into thinking he's not that bad a character now. You know,
No.
at the time I didn't like him because of, like we were saying earlier, you know, here's the merchandise guy. But then, even the original Star Wars film, you know,
I didn't see
it
it like
was
that.
built to he took the option to take merchandising options. So it's not as observable because we didn't know who these characters were at the start, you know. But you know, kids have always liked having action figures of like
Kids and adults.
yeah, and well back then though. I mean, I don't think adults.
No, not now. That's the
collected it in
new thing.
the
So I
70s,
was
you know.
embarrassed walking into Toys R Us in
But-
'95.
It's just yeah, it's not fair to treat people like that. You know, like you would not you shouldn't treat people that way because you dislike a character they played.
But it's their fault. They played the character.
Yeah, no, yeah. How dare they take that money?
Thing is, I know it was the whole argument was to create, you know, like you said about Jar Jar, was to create toys.
Yeah.
But to me, after growing up with the toys, it's nice having the character. You can argue that about anything that's Star Wars.
Yeah, it's true.
You have a character that's an alien. It's to sell toys.
Yeah, the background ones
So,
especially.
but why pick out one character over another?
Yeah.
Say,
I know.
so what's
No,
the difference
yeah,
between
yeah,
a Jar
I
Jar
get
Binks and an Obi-Wan Kenobi
and an
figure?
Ewok. Or,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's still a toy.
Yeah.
No one's forcing you to buy the toy.
No,
If you don't want the toy,
It's-
don't buy the
with
pardon
the-
my language, don't buy the toy.
With the latest one, it was the Porgs, wasn't it? You know, but I absolutely love the Porgs. But they're not hindering the film. They're just in there. You know, like if you want to look for them, they're there.
I have three Porg Funko Pops, and the only reason I don't have the large one is because I've got no space for it. That's the truth.
But it's nice. Like I think they fit into that film quite
They're
well. You know, like
cute.
because they get in the way with Chewie when he's on the controls at the Falcon, and you know they're like little comedy things. And I think they do that really well in Star Wars with the little background aliens.
Oh, that's one another thing I liked about you. What was Toy Seller, Attack of the Clones, all those Jedi's. You just wanted to have
Yeah,
every
definitely,
Jedi.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's another plus for Attack of the Clones.
And it's like the one where you saw, like, oh, there's a purple lightsaber as well.
Oh, Samuel L. Jackson.
And that was the time when Star Wars video games were getting rampant as well, you know, and you could jump around with like a yellow lightsaber if you really wanted to, you know, or
I
an
don't need
orange
to
one.
do that. I've got a yellow lightsaber before they had in the original 1980s range.
Yeah,
Oh,
but I mean,
show
like,
my
I
age.
think, yeah, yeah, if you really dig it out, they're all toy sellers, aren't they? But then look at
It's the only-
everything is now, isn't it?
It's the only movie franchise to make more from merchandising than it did from ticket sales.
Yeah, it's crazy how much money they made from that, isn't it? I mean, I think he was laughed out of the room, wasn't he, when he took that deal?
Yeah,
Like
but-
Fox must have thought, got that cheap.
and the sequels because they're not going to make any sequels.
Yeah. Oh crap. We own one film out of 6.
3PO was a bit dodgy in 1 and 3. Well, actually, it's dodgy in 1. It's like, oh, here's 3PO just so we
Yeah,
can link it all in.
I think 3PO is really sidekicky in the prequel trilogy, whereas in the original trilogy, him and R2 have an equal footing. You know, he is kind of still sidekicky. Like you get the impression R2 is the secret boss, but they were on like when they were together. You didn't want them apart, and they are apart quite a lot in the prequel trilogy. It's all about R2, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
and when the little astromech droid in the New Hope Phantom Menace runs into Jar Jar, guess who this is?
oh yeah, I know.
It's like,
Yeah,
it's R2D2. We know who it is.
yeah.
These are very well put together. What's his name? R2D2.
Howard.
Is like
Yeah.
R2. He has character.
Yeah, just the way Captain Panaka just reads it off of it. Like, is it even written on it? Like
Yeah.
R2D2, Your Highness. Like it's like reading a number plate.
Yeah. Thank you, R2D2. I'm Kira Knightley, so I'm the decoy, so I'm now going to get the Queen to do some work.
Yeah,
Oi, Queen! Clean up.
and she's
Clean
right in the
fountain.
corner.
And has an exposition about Gungans and the Naboo.
The progression of episode 1 I do like, where it goes from trade disputes, fuck this, to actually slavery. They're handling something that's quite deep and serious.
I'm a human, or I'm a boy. My name is Anakin.
Yeah, I'm a person and my name is
Yeah.
Anakin. Yeah, that's not a great introduction.
So yeah,
the
two.
film's greatest villain.
Okay, they are, yeah, but
Did anyone else think? Did you ever think as well when you first watched episode 1, like, how the hell are these two gonna fall in love? He's a kid. Like episode 2 was 10 years later. You think, oh right, that old chestnut.
I think I thought they'd have a time hop, but I thought they'd had to because the Padme was 14.
Yeah,
think he
it
was
would have been
supposed to be
highly illegal, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but
Like, do the Republic's anti-slavery laws extend to that as well? I don't know.
technically she made she did. No, because you had to have 10 years in between them, so they
Yeah,
were
that's
of
true.
age.
Do you know as well? I always thought a funny thing as well. You know when they're talking about if you try and escape, you're like, and then they blow you up, boom! If you're a
Yeah.
slave, like I immediately thought of the Running Man where that guy
Yeah.
runs and his
Oh.
collar blows off. Yeah, I thought that's what happened to the slaves in
Oh.
episode 1.
That probably is what happens. I don't think we have that in that
But
kind
no,
of
it's not
stuff.
PG-13 at all, is it?
No, we have to have it so it sells.
I like how they sort of, even in Solo, they go back to that sort of. There's a lot of episode 1 throwbacks where the slavery thing with Kira,
Yeah.
in the the gangsters and even seeing Darth Maul again. That I quite like seeing other parts of the galaxy that don't make it look too small.
I'd like a Solo too, but that ain't gonna happen.
I might one day.
Eventually, when everybody looks through rose-tinted glasses at Solo and says it's better than we
Realises
thought it
they
was.
were idiots. Yeah.
I had people that came to me afterwards and go, "Oh, I watched it on the
Yeah,
streaming."
it's quite good, isn't it? And you think, well, why didn't you go see it in the first place then?
Episode 8.
Oh, I thought you meant Solo. Sorry.
No, I am. No, that's the answer.
Yeah.
Episode 8 sucked. So that's why we didn't go and see it. But it's not a Skywalker film.
Yeah. And it has nothing to do with episode 8, apart from maybe like one reference with those dice.
Yeah.
But
That's in 4, 5, 6.
that's Well, I mean, yeah, that's actually a deleted scene, isn't it? Where you see you see the dice once, don't you? Like hanging in episode 4, and then
Yeah.
they realise they had fairy dice hanging up, and then for them to implement that is really clever.
That's I love it. It's okay. I think
I think we've exhausted ourselves.
I think we have because we're just going to go into territory of starting slating.
Yeah, the circle is now complete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I left you, I always learned, and now I am the master. You know what? I really hope we see Hayden again in 9.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I really want a cameo.
So that was good casting for episode 2. Actually, I had to say one last thing. I think the casting of episode 2 is superb.
You know, we nearly got Leonardo DiCaprio as Anakin.
I'm glad we
been
didn't.
interesting.
So glad we didn't.
But yeah, maybe
Change career trajectories.
Yeah.
No, this is no disrespect to Leonardo DiCaprio.
No, it's
I
fantastic.
really love Leonardo DiCaprio's career trajectory. I would not like to see him. No.
Yeah, something like that mainstream.
No.
And he was quite Titanic still, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Titanic Leo.
I like him as Rick Dalton. So.
Yeah.
And what he does for the environment and everything. So. Got to send that through.
He's a nice guy, isn't he?
So yeah. So is Ewan McGregor with his lovely beard.
Alright.
I like Ewan McGregor.
Could make any amount of Obi-Wan films and I will go see them.
Oh yes. And I liked him in Trainspotting too. I thought that was his arc in Trainspotting too.
I always think it's interesting to watch actors who've been in Star Wars when they're in other things and to see if they actually can act. And you know, most of them can.
Yeah.
Like it's really. I mean, I'm intrigued to see where all the careers of the new young people go in Star Wars. You know, like John Boyega and Daisy Ridley. I mean, they've been in a few things already, but Oscar Isaac's already feels like he's established it for me because he's the older guy on the set, and I think he's kind of like, you know, the relationship they had on the original trilogy where Han was like the father figure because he was the older guy.
Yeah,
he'd already been married and divorced. You know, I get the impression that's what Oscar Isaac is a bit like.
Oscar Isaac, brilliant. I mean, I hope Kelly Tran gets, but Billy Lord, Connix.
Yeah.
The Adam Driver. I love Adam Driver.
But I can't stand Kylo Ren.
No, I can't stand Kylo Ren. But that's a good sign is when you've got someone you truly like. I mean, I thought Adam Driver, he's only barely in it. Adam Driver in Inside Llewyn Davis, I just think he's superb in that.
He's just and Black Klansman as well. He's just
hilarious
in that, you know.
But we are now going completely off the subject.
Yeah.
But you know what?
We do that.
Yeah. We'd bet this time get away with it because we're off subject on to Star. We usually go off subject in video and Star Wars. Now we're doing Star Wars. So I would say I'm gonna rank. I think you know if I'm gonna rank them, 2 from 1 to 3 is like my favorite is definitely Attack of the Clones.
Right. Then
it's where it gets a bit interesting because even though I saw it more at the cinema with Revenge, and at the time it came out, I thought it's got one of the best scenes, the Order 66 and the final battle. But it's let down by just those 2, by the massacring of the children and Padme's. To me, they stick out seriously bad. So I'm going to go with my number 2 for me is Phantom Menace. I just think.
I think it goes 3-1-2 for me. I always feel like the end of the trilogies are the most sort of interesting and satisfying ones. I mean, Empire's my favourite of the original trilogy. And I don't know why I like the Dark Ones more, but Episode 8's also my favourite of the new trilogy. But Episode 2 wasn't of the... I suppose it's because Episode 3 is the darkest of that one, isn't it? So, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like I said at the beginning, I don't hate it by any stretch of the imagination. It's just, for me, it's just my weakest of the 3. But, I think it's true as well, like we were saying, that the prequels are definitely worth reappraising now.
Yeah.
They saw something, you know, things coming that even, you know, we didn't see. You know, and he's good at that. He's good at anticipating. He may not have known he was anticipating trends, but there's no way he went into A New Hope thinking, I'm going to change the world with this film.
But that's a good thing.
That's probably why it did, though. Because same with J.K. Rowling. Oh, this little boy wizard, he's going to change the world. No, they just think, I like this character, I'm going to write about him. And then other people resonate with that honesty, I think, you know, when you get into character arcs and characters in general, the more pompous the author is about the character, the more you think, oh, I don't care.
These are Saturday morning serials.
Yeah.
I think for a future podcast, I think we're going to be looking at the influence of the prequel trilogy
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
on not only just Star Wars, but on cinema in
in
general. As I
Said that
think
at the same time there. That was
yeah.
weird, wasn't it?
I'm back on that
That
one.
was a jinx.
So that's I think that's where we're going next.
Yeah.
With those, but you know, after watching these films again, I really for me, let's toss up between Solo and Episode 7 are the weaker two for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I actually put the prequels. I mean, the original three. I rose tinted glasses. I will accept it, and I will be watching these very soon. The originals, because I want to do it without them on, just to see where the prequels and the new trilogy, and of course Rogue One and Solo, actually fit in.
Yeah.
But being objective, and that's the thing with these films. You have to be, if from
Steve's got another phone call
another
again.
phone call, it's, but yeah, this has been. I actually been looking forward to doing this
same.
podcast for some time, and this has been turned out. I think this has been fun. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as we have.
Yeah.
It's been really enjoyable for me. So I'm going to wrap it up. Callum's going to have the last words. I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Yeah, I can't really say anything more than 3-1-2 is my order. So
2-1-3.
2-1-3. Okay, no, that's as good at any sentence to sign off on, isn't it? So
I can do this. Just remember, the Force will be with you
always.